Just one moment, sorry. Okay, we're all together. Hi.
Hello.
I am Steve. This is...
I am Julia, and we are here today to talk about love again. Yes, we want to warm up this weather a little so that it would be warm and it would be filled with love.
Yes.
First of all, we are Intersoul Russia. Join us. Visit our website is intersoulrussia.com. Visit our Instagram, Facebook, and we have a YouTube channel as well. We will load up our video a little bit later because we have some problems with it.
We are terrible at technology.
Yes, technical problems. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're gonna be in Instagram right now and on Facebook. So stay with us.
The people on Facebook, please join us on Instagram. People on Instagram, please join us on Facebook.
Yeah, you can write your questions, your comments. Please stay with us.
Yeah, and no swearing. That's my job.
Mm-hmm. So, Steven, first of all...
So, Julia.
I wanted to speak a little bit about how couples in Russia find each other and how are they going to the serious relationship. How are they? What is the road about?
Okay.
About the first dates, about some customs that...
So this is the courtship process.
Yeah, the courtship. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when you are in the relationship with a boy, a girl and a boy are in the relationship in Russia, they have some dates basically.
Okay. Yes.
And the first date is usually about to get to know each other, so that is their need to continue.
Right.
Yes.
So like the diagnostic session.
Yeah. So well.
Okay.
First of all, they need to find out some issues about each other, some points that are important. For example, maybe politics. Maybe one of them is for...
politics, how many toes they have.
Yes, some points that are important for each other.
Okay.
And if they are finding each other more or less...
compatible.
Okay. They continue, and there are some rules. There are some rules in Russia. Rules, yes, because Russian girls normally, I don't say that all of them are like that.
She's saying all of them.
Well, they like when a boy comes without flowers. Especially on some, I don't know, International Women's Day that was not long ago. It is considered a bit strange. Some girls want to be interesting and they say that I don't like flowers, don't give me flowers. They're lying.
Okay.
It's lies. So if you want something, well, if she said don't bring me flowers.
Bring flowers.
Bring flowers in any case.
Okay.
Yes, that's my recommendation.
So even perhaps, so you say, see, I understand that for a normal date. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. But in this diagnostic date, would you hypothetically still bring flowers? Because
not yet.
Not yet.
That's too early for this.
Okay.
It's a quite valuable... I don't know, not a present, but a sign of attention.
And affection.
Right. Yes, and if that happens on the first date, it may scare a girl.
Yeah, because when you said, when you said, there's a diagnostic session, I was like, oh, okay, so no flowers, and always bring flowers. Well, now I'm confused.
No.
Okay.
Well, especially when there is some necessity like... a holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, you should bring flowers every time. Actually, in Russian, we have an idiom that is...
That's next week's podcast.
We came back to our idioms. For this period of time... You're an idiom. For this period, we called it конфетно-букетный период. When a girl and a boy just start dating, and they are not in a serious relationship yet.
Okay.
They are in a конфетно-букетный period.
Okay, you
In
really
a
need about-
period where you bring flowers and give some sweets to your girl all the time, very often. And that's a period of time that you should pass through it. You have
Okay.
to. You have to.
So you have to
give
put in the
her
hard yards
Mhm.
to come out the other side. You have to put in the attention, the affection, and the okay.
Yeah, and this period is called of sweets and flowers.
Okay.
So, another one. For example, another point that is important. When you go on a date with a girl and you go to sit in some place, well, you drink and order some drinks and food, you should be prepared that Russian women consider it normal for a guy to pay for her.
Yeah.
She may also be interesting, want to seem interesting to you and ask if you want to...
Yeah, and then you have to be the one to say, no,
I'll pay for
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
yes. You, well, you
Okay.
shouldn't lead to that. Well, if she says, I can pay for myself...
Yeah. And then you say, don't worry about it.
And if she seems offended for that, don't believe her.
Yeah,
That's
of course, of
that
course.
is lies.
It's
She
like
wants
the
you to pay.
politeness dance where you have to be
Yes.
forced the way through. Yeah.
It's a polite stance. Is it the same in Australia?
God no.
God, no.
God no.
Really?
I was blessed upon coming to Russia because everything here makes sense. Things that you wouldn't even consider as not being a normal part of dating life are completely absent in Australia because Australia doesn't have a dating culture.
At all?
I have never once in my entire life heard anybody in Australia going to a girl and saying, would you like to go out with me? Would you like to go on a date? Would you like to grab a drink? Would you like to grab a coffee? Nobody says that.
What do they do? How do they make a couple?
So you cannot ask out a person on a date. Whereas in Russia, that's the only way to do it. I mean, right? You don't even think that that's something to consider. So you've got the little...
Oh. I'm sorry.
We're working off of phones. We're not a very professional institution. We are fun though. And we're
So
pretty.
join us,
Yeah.
yes.
So stay with
Join
us.
our webinars every Monday.
Thursday.
And Thursday. Thursday is the boring part.
Thursday's the boring one.
Yes.
Monday's the fun one.
And Monday is the fun one, yes.
Yeah.
And useful. The next webinar we're going to have is very useful as well.
Yes.
So stay with us.
Please
Don't
do.
lose the connection.
Yeah, just after this we're going to be talking about IELTS, which is very fun.
Is it?
No. But no, sorry, to come back to...
Coming back to our
coming back to our thing. If you bring a girl flowers on a date, she's going to think, what the hell?
She's gonna be surprised.
Surprised, probably offended, 100% weirded out. And see, if you bring a girl flowers, they're going to be weirded out, but they're usually going to be flattered. Because nobody in Australia does this. So if you do it, if you brought me flowers, I would be, like, of course. So it doesn't really matter if people like flowers. But it is still a weird thing to do in Australia, and no Australians do it. As for paying, it depends on the people. I always insisted on paying because I like to pretend I'm a gentleman.
To pretend.
To pretend.
Okay.
Like play. But there will always be that fight, and usually girls will just insist on paying for themselves and will pay for themselves. A common trick that many Australians do is when they're going to the cinema, they say, meet me inside the cinema.
Oh, so they buy tickets for each other separately. But how can they be sure that they will sit together?
Nobody watches who sits where.
Really?
I mean, that you should, but nobody does. Yeah.
And if the film is very popular and we have the full...
then you can't get around it. You have to pay together. But usually people pay separately. And usually what the guy will do is just kind of ignore that the girl also has to pay, and then the girl pays, and they're like, okay, now let's go. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, so terrible.
It is.
And so this as well is for drinks because it's a more feminist culture. So, you know, the female empowerment, but then again, females get empowered and men stop acting like gentlemen. So, but as for, so there are two more things that I need to add there. So firstly, how do people get on the dates? You don't. What you do is you meet through friends, or you meet at a club, or at a bar, or at a party, or you are friends with a friend, and you play, and you text, and you go back, and you go forth, until you're both drunk together, and then you hook up and make out.
Well, actually, that happens in Russia as well.
Yes.
Yeah, you
yes.
can just meet at the party in some club, and a boy or a girl says, "Let's go to my place."
Yes. But in Australia, that's the only way things are done.
Oh, really?
The only way.
Sometimes they just don't go strictly to some place, to somebody's place. They may just say, "Oh, let's go to some quiet place to sit and talk."
Right. Yes.
It's a smooth start.
Exactly. You have to start smoothly, but Australia starts not knowing what's going on, and so they just keep on pretending like they know what they're doing. No one has any idea. The divorce rate is 56%. Relationships in Australia are terrible and a joke.
Okay.
Furthermore, one thing that I hate about Australian culture, they don't take the girl home. Men don't take the girl home. They don't walk her to the train station, they don't walk her to the bus station, they don't walk her to the front door.
In Russia, it is not only politeness or something else. It's when you come back from date, it is usually late.
Yeah.
And it's just dangerous.
Exactly.
It is just dangerous for her to walk alone.
Exactly. So, I mean, in Australia, that's not the case because we... Any Russians around? No, because we have a normal country.
I'm not going to get offended.
In my country, you can't pay the police to go away. So, take that.
Russians hate that. Most Russians that have been to America, they say that it is very, well, they are afraid of police there because you just can't get paid.
Yeah, the law's the law.
Yeah, and they are all afraid of it. And Russians don't like America for that. The main reason that Russians don't like America. They actually do like this country and they want to go there. But when they come to visit it for some period of time, they just don't like it.
Exactly.
The first thing that they don't.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. You have to do it here for safety, but it's gentlemanly.
Yes.
It's gentlemanly. And so,
well, actually, sometimes it happens between friends that they become more than just friends.
Yes.
And it is often happening like that. For example, you go together as friends. When you go together as friends to some place to sit and to drink and to talk, you usually, when you are considered to be friends, you pay for yourself. You share the bill, you pay for yours, and he pays for his. And if he offers to pay for you, it is not a friend, not only friendship no more. You just, you find it as a sign for a girl that he pays for me.
Wait,
maybe
really?
he wants something more.
Really?
Not just only
So that's
friendship.
not polite. That's not like nice if you're...
Well, if she has no money, you can give her, but you can lend her the sum. You can say, okay, I'll pay for you this time and you pay for me next time. And sometimes there was a situation with me. I had a friend of mine. I considered him only as a friend, and we had to go to our school, and we didn't want to. So we said, "Oh, let's not go." And we went to some cafe. And he started ordering something to him and to me. And I said, oh, I don't have enough sum of money, so stop it. And he said, oh, I invited you. I pay.
Okay, yes.
And I said,
Oh.
And I was right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how it happens sometimes.
So that's a Russian thing. If the man pays.
If the man pays, that happens only between couples. So if you're friends, you shouldn't pay for her. If you're going out like in a company, Yeah, don't do that all the time. If you pay, a woman considers you as a little bit more than a friend, that you want something more from her. That
I just do that for my friends because I tend to earn a lot more money than my friends. And it's not like they don't have the money, it's just that they need it for other things. So I pay. Is that, and almost all of my
that
friends are female.
might be considered, but they know that you're a foreigner. Maybe they're just using you in that sense.
I would be too. I mean,
why not? But, well, they know that you earn more money than they do. They know that you're a foreigner and you don't actually know how is it happening. So then, pay.
Okay,
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But between Russians,
because it would have been interesting because the other week I went with my friends to this club, and we got 4 cocktails, like between the 4 of us, and it was me and the 3 girls, and I was just like, don't worry guys, like I've got this one.
Well,
and that would have been interesting if that had come to something more, but we are all still friends, unfortunately.
Well, actually, if you are with a couple of girls, it is not the same. So it is okay for a boy to pay for the girls if he is...
it's not very ambitious of Russian men to think only one at a time.
Well, it is more common in Russia. So, yes, and if there are only 2 of you, a girl and a boy, and the boy pays for a girl, even though they were friends, he may consider her not just a friend anymore. Yeah.
All right. And as well, I found that meeting the parents in Russia is different to Australia.
Well, I can explain how does it happen in Russia.
Please.
Well, meeting parents of your girlfriend is a step to the serious relationship.
Yes.
So things are not very serious till you meet them officially. Sometimes you can just come to the girl's place and there will be the parents.
Right.
And she will introduce you to them and say, if she says that this is my boyfriend or not just a friend, it is more official. She may just say, that's my friend. And even if you are not her just a friend, so for her, if it is okay and a boy won't be offended if she says that's a friend of mine to the parents. Because naming you as a boyfriend is a serious step, and boys usually are afraid of it. Because it means that you are now part of family.
Russian men are cowards.
Well, that's a serious thing. I mean, you may not be ready for that.
I mean, that's what happens when you get into a relationship. You have the expectation that one day...
you get it right from the beginning.
Well, no, not right from the beginning.
Yes,
but, yes, after some time.
After some time, yes.
Some time.
Yes.
So
some time has to be...
Yeah. But as far as I understand it, in Russia, when you have the official meet the parents...
Not every time. Not every time.
Well, no. It doesn't need to be the first time you meet them. Just even if you've met them 5-6 times, there is an official sit down, have the dinner, meet the official.
Yes, it is. It is. Well, sometimes it happens it just happens so.
Okay.
For example, my sister has a boyfriend, and they they are not living separately from their parents yet.
Okay.
And when he comes to her place just to hang around, to watch some films, he meets her parents.
Yeah.
And when it's time for dinner, everybody sits and has dinner. But that doesn't mean...
That's not the official, yeah.
That's not official, it just happened so. Well, some time passed and he is still there. So that is more like he skipped this official situation.
Lucky boy.
Yeah, and if you are living separately from your parents and have a possibility to ignore them, there is a tradition of getting to know the girl's parents. and it is usually a dinner. They sit down, they talk, they get to know the boy,
Yeah.
because we have an extended families.
Yes.
So when a boy comes to girl and it is all starting to be serious, he has to be a part of the whole family, not
Yes.
only their.
And you need the
separate.
babushka, the dedushka as well
Yes,
to
yes.
be there. Yeah.
Actually, when I started dating with my husband, hello, he had a more serious talk with my babushka, with my grandma, than with my parents. She was very strict
Of course,
to him,
yeah.
and my parents were like, okay, they're just having fun, they're too young. They didn't believe that it would go that far.
Wow.
Yeah.
There were I was had a very close relationship with this girl, friendship. We were very, very close friends. Her entire family thought that we were involved.
I had such a friend and still have this friend,
Yeah.
and he's a friend of our family. He has his own family now, and we're friends together. Our
Okay.
family are friends, and yes, so I had to have this friend of mine.
Amazing.
There's a joke that, sometimes if you are very close friends when you're a boy and a girl, and everybody thinks that you have something more than just a friendship,
Yeah.
and there's a special thing that we call it friends with benefits. Yeah.
But that's only when you're sleeping together.
What I was talking about.
Okay, okay.
Everybody thinks that.
Oh yes, everyone thinks that you are friends.
Yeah,
with
and
okay.
you have to tell them every time that that's not true.
Yeah, yeah.
We're brother and sister. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So the first time I met her family, I was staying with her family for a time. First time I met her family, I didn't understand what was happening. Her father sat me down with a liter of Grey Goose vodka.
Is she Russian?
Russian.
Ah, that's okay.
And we drank the entire thing together. He liked me. And then his mother was like, Davai, when am I meeting him? And so she summoned me and her.
Oh.
And we went to her place and she taught us how to make blichiki.
Oh.
And it was very sweet, but she was like interrogating me the entire time. And it was so sweet because there was nothing going on, but she still turned to the girl and was like, nice.
Oh.
It was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. So that was great.
Interesting.
It was very strange. It was very strange.
And you're still friends?
Of course, yeah. See each other 3-4 times a week.
Quite often.
Yeah. Not like that. No benefits. But yeah, so that's the basic differences of finding love in Australia and Russia. Russia has a strict system of how to find your love, and Australia is like, yeah, man, like whatever. You know.
Whatever.
We're probably gonna get divorced in our 20s anyway. It's fine. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Please stay tuned. We're about to have our IELTS talk. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.
It was Into Soul Russia with you. Join us on our social media and on our website.